Good morning everyone, today we're going to be retesting the Verschmelz weapons versus the Flugelguard weapons because in the previous video that I did upload, I did realize that my Verschmelz weapon was not actually enhanced to plus 80 and was only at plus 70, and thus, the test was kind of pointless, and that's why I took the video down. As you can see in the background, I'm not actually at home and I'm out on a trip. And I've been out for like the past 5 days already. So a lot of the videos that you guys have seen, or at least the past 5 videos, have all been pre-recorded, which is why, unfortunately, that was a mistake that I made as I was binging like 5 to 6 videos a day, mass recording. And anyway, today we are going to be amending all of those issues about that video. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily. So if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to showcase over here is, yes, my Verschmelz weapon is now at plus 80, and the augments over here are all LC capsules, right? And you can see that I have also adjusted the same thing with the Flugelguard weapon so that it is a fair apples to apples comparison. The only difference over here is the XD capsule, because this one is XD Def Parfait versus this one, which is XD Def Meld Tech. However, that actually doesn't really matter because the only difference between those two augments is this one actually gives you a little bit more range potency versus this one that doesn't give you range potency, but we are going to be testing it on katana only, which is a melee weapon, so the only one that actually matters is the melee potency. And as you can see, the damage adjustment is exactly the same, the potency is exactly the same, and everything else is exactly the same. So with the weapons themselves out of the way, the next thing I want to talk about are going to be the buffs. So as we can see over here, we do have all of our different potencies from our food buff. We do have our mag buff actually with our attack potency plus 5%. So this is the Kvar's regen mag that is fully fed. And then of course we do have our alliance mag buffs as well. So with all of that being said, the way that I'm going to be testing it is going to be relatively simple. I'm simply going to pop Brave Combat, and then I'm just going to be spamming my level 10 Lotus Lightning over and over and over because I do have the increased attack speed over here, and that's just the easiest way for me to test the DPS. Now we're going to go to this dummy since there's no one over here. We are going to enable our DPS meter because I'm currently on a different computer. I'm on my new laptop, which doesn't actually have the DPS meter enabled. So let us just find that real quick and let's pop that open. And there we go, DPS, display damage per second, DPS. And again, we're just gonna have it on the top right corner as usual, okay? So with that being said and done, let us test the Verschmelz weapon first. So again, it is Fixa Terminal level 4, all of the LC capsules, but with an XD capsule, okay? So with that being said, we are going to be testing in 3, 2, 1, go. And here we go. All right. Damage looking pretty dang good. It's looking a lot better than before. However, it is going down. And let's see, 3, 2, 1, and katana combat end. And wabam. That was 12,600. All right, that's pretty good. So now we are going to head back and we are going to be switching to the next weapon. The reason why I need to go back to town and come back is because it resets the DPS meter. So now that we come back to here, we just tested our Verschmelz. Now we are going to be testing our Flugelguard weapon. So let's hope that the difference isn't that big as before. Personally, I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference. Maybe a little bit. Maybe like, we'll hit like 13,000 on the Flugelguard katana versus like 12. Like it was 12,600, right? So it wasn't that big of a difference, hopefully. But nevertheless, we will see. Okay, our cooldowns are off. Again, make sure, yep, it is a Flugelguard katana enabled. All right, so here we go. Katana combat or Brave Combat. Boom. 1, 2, 3, and let's just keep going. Let's see. Damage numbers don't actually look that promising at the moment. And katana combat end. And that was 11,900. That was like almost 1,200. Wow, that was actually a very surprising conclusion. That means the Verschmelz was actually better than the Flugelguard, but then again, the Flugelguard does not have a Fixa, so we do have to take that into consideration. But the Verschmelz with the Terminal 4 out DPS the Flugelguard. We're gonna do the Flugelguard one more time, just because I'm curious. but that was very surprising. I did not expect the Flugelguard to actually lose. I thought the Flugelguard would pull ahead just by like a little bit, but not just straight up lose like that. So we're gonna test the Flugelguard one more time, you know, just to sate my curiosity, and we will see how that goes again. So we're just waiting for the cooldown over here because it does take a couple seconds for my Brave Combat to come off cooldown again. And so we're just waiting for that. Let's begin. One. Okay. Let's look at the DPS. Okay, I think we crit at the beginning there. That's why we got like 15,000. But it is slowly going down as we are not critting anymore. And Brave Combat end. And wow, 11,900. Yeah, so it was consistent. It was 11,900 the first time and again on the second time. Both weapons are enhanced to plus 80 and exactly the same augments, all LC capsules with the Guard Triple S. The only difference is the XD capsules over here, but they are both of the Deft variant anyway, so it doesn't really affect anything. Again, I would just want to showcase right here, 22% melee potency, 22% melee potency, damage adjustment 52.5%, 52.5%, okay? Now for those who are wondering about the rare weapon, it's pretty much going to perform the same as the Flugelguard weapon, especially if you don't have a Fixa on it and you have the exact same capsules. Emiko actually did a video on this. The comparison is very, very minute. It's like 200 DPS difference, so it's really, really small. The reason why I'm not doing the DPS test in this video is simply because my rare katana is augmented out of the wazoo, right? It's got all of the, it's got Lux Hal Finale, it's got all of the regular high-end capsules, except for Gigas Mastate. I'm still having an LC capsule, so you can see over here that my potency is 24% instead of the regular 22%. And so if I did test this weapon, it is going to be pretty unfair. It also has a Fixa attack level 1, but you know, just to sate your curiosity, I will test it, you know, just to show you. However, this is not objective at all, simply because, well, it's not a fair comparison, because this rare katana has much better augments versus my Verschmelz and my Flugelguard. I actually re-augmented the Flugelguard over here. I took away all of my expensive capsules and I replaced them with a bunch of LC capsules just to get a fair apples to apples comparison. But anyway, with that said, here we go with the rare weapon. So again, we are going to go to Katana Combat, and here we go. I'm expecting the rare weapon to outperform a lot, simply because it's got the, you know, 7% more potency through the Fixa attack, and yeah, it's just a lot more geared compared to the other weapons. And here we go, and we got 13,300. So yes, it did outperform the Verschmelz, yes, it did outperform the Flugelguard, but it's got much better augments. It's got a Fixa attack level 1, which actually gives me 7% more potency. And but to be honest, it's actually pretty close, the test between these weapons. So I mean, Verschmelz weapon isn't actually that bad. So if you don't have a Fixa on your rare weapon or your Flugelguard weapon, you might want to consider using the Verschmelz weapons, especially if you have a Fixa term of 4 or above. It's actually not that bad of a choice. But obviously, the moment that you do get a rare weapon, especially if you do get any sort of Fixa on it, it will outperform the Verschmelz weapon, so just keep that in mind. But the damage numbers are relatively close. So if you have a Verschmelz weapon with a high Fixa, you could use it. You know, it's not the end of the world, you could use it for now, but you definitely still want to aim for a rare weapon and try to upgrade that and get a Fixa on it at the end, because the rare weapon does have a lot more longevity since it is a 10-star weapon. Sure, it's not tradable, that's the only downside about it, but I mean, neither is the Verschmelz, right? So, whatever.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.